Hi, everybody. This is Bo McKay. I'm the Vice President of North America for System Software. And I just want to thank everybody for coming today. And we're really looking forward to presenting this. And, we're very excited to be able to do this with Bond Consulting. They're just such a great partner that we really enjoy working with. And what's nice is they're our partner and also our customer. So they're really instrumental in helping us to make the product even better when they're working with customers and partners. So we're very excited about this presentation today, and looking forward to getting good questions and talking to you about our solution and our philosophy. I also have Paul Gallagher here with me today.
Hello, everybody.
And Paul works with me in sales and marketing, and we kind of help coordinate getting information out to our partners and helping them with customers and potential customers. So. With that, I think I'll go ahead and start the presentation. So I'm just going to go through and do kind of just a very quick overview about who we are as a solution, as a company, and then talk about sort of the foundations of our solution, and then I'll move through kind of a very sort of straightforward demo, and that gives you kind of an understanding of how the solution can work for your organization. Our mission as System Software is solely focused on the professional services industry. And our goal from the very beginning is to provide state-of-the-art innovative solutions that help professional service organizations and people that deal with projects intensively to really increase their efficiency and productivity. And we do that by coming at this at a holistic viewpoint, and that we're very focused on project management, project accounting, and resource management. And our vision is that all should be in one place. It should be easily accessible by everyone in the organization. And then by doing that, it helps to make the overall organization more efficient. People know better what they're doing. Everybody's happier. And in the end, it creates a nice sort of virtuous cycle where you get more work, you do more work, everybody's happy, you make more money. So it just makes where efficiency sort of begets efficiency and makes a better organization. Who we are as a company is we're based right outside of Amsterdam, Netherlands. I'm personally based in Philadelphia, where I have my North American team. We've been in business 25 years. 22 of those years, 23 now, we've been focusing on the professional services industry. This is our third product that we've released over the years. We have about 25,000 users on the product that you're going to see today, and we have about 10,000 on our previous product that also work with CRM, but it sort of stood outside of it. And the other way that we work is we work obviously through our partners. So we have about 250 premium partners in 20 countries. So we do work in North America, in Europe, in Australia, in Asia, in Latin America, and we have clients that cover different parts of the world and clients that are globally centered. Some of our customers include Inbank in the Netherlands, RSM, which is a large accounting and tax and consulting firm here in North America, Longview Systems, which is an IT services firm here in North America with about 20 locations and 1,500 users. Santiago Calatrava in the architecture space, he's one of the most famous architects in the world, uses our solution. Fugro Engineering is one of our oldest clients. We're deploying the PSA solution for them right now across 90 countries and 11,000 users. The other one I just would want to mention too is KPN, which is sort of like the Dutch Verizon Wireless or AT&T Wireless, and we're actually in the process right now of redeveloping all of our mobile applications within a joint venture with KPN, who uses our system and now is working hand in hand to even make the solution even better. The vision and concept of our solution is that what we call PSA Suite, and it's evolved over the years. The foundation of PSA Suite is the idea that when you're in a professional service organization, it's very easy for information to become siloed, for people to use spreadsheets or their own lists or their own custom programs. And what happens with that is typically then that certain information is in a system like maybe project accounting, but project management or resource management isn't accessible to everyone. So then you end up having people do a lot of manual things. And our vision is that we've created one suite that sits within Microsoft Dynamics CRM, and that suite really is centered on professional services automation, so project management, resource management, project accounting. Then that feeds into our HRM system that's included in the suite. The HRM solution gives you first and foremost the ability to track your employees and their skills, but also track their employee profile, their absences, their vacations, their reviews, their disciplinary procedures, process applicants into the organization. So it works really hand in hand with the PSA solution. The other important piece, obviously, and I mentioned this before, is that we sit inside Microsoft Dynamics CRM. What's important about that is that that means that when it comes to accessing data, either importing data, reporting on data, or modifying it within the system, because we're in the CRM system and we're in Microsoft Dynamics CRM both on-premise and online, you have access to all those tools that are already built into the platform and continue to evolve. And I'll make sure and highlight that when we're in the system itself. The other important points I wanted to bring up too is that we're in the process of continuously developing more portals. We'll show you today an employee portal so that we give employees not just access to a timesheet, but also access to understand what tasks are assigned to them. And the idea behind that is you don't want your employees to have to go all the way through deeply into the system. You want one place where they can come and understand what they need to do and then go in and enter their time, enter their expenses, request time off. So that's a very important piece to us, is that everyone has access to good data in the system, and the system then is bringing in good data. So it's a really sort of good process that gets established. The final thing too is that we focus on vertical packages, and that's going to continue to evolve. We're just starting that really now. But what that means is, for the different industries that we've identified as targets, we'll continue to update the solution to provide vertical content and then also strengthen the overall solution. A lot of the things you'll see today came, for example, we're doing a lot of work in the accountancy vertical, which is very resource intensive. Because it's so resource intensive, we've developed advanced resource management tools to make sure the right people are in the right place, and you're able to balance your workforce and make sure you have people aren't overloaded or underloaded. So the idea behind all of this is that we're going to have one complete solution, and that there's one place for everyone in the organization to come in and look and see what's coming up, what's happened, and then what is their specific role and what they need to do. So the architecture of our solution really is that as I said before, we're using Microsoft Dynamics CRM. And what that means is that we're taking sort of the core elements of CRM, like accounts and contacts, opportunities, leads, campaigns, cases, and then we've added our own elements into the system, like projects and resources and forecasting and invoices and financials, so that we've developed one place where all the data is, all in one database, so that there's no integration needed to do your normal daily work. And then the other part that comes into play is that because we're inside of CRM, we have automatic links into Microsoft Outlook, automatic links into Microsoft SharePoint, or whatever data repository you choose to use. And then thirdly, we then have the ability also then to integrate our financials, like our project subledger, into whatever financial system someone's using. And our goal in all this is really what our founders called Supreme Project Management. And what we mean by that is a few different elements. The first element is that when it comes to actual and the things that are happening, we are able to capture, and our goal is to capture everything that's going on within a project and within your customers. So we obviously do the basics of hours and expenses, but we also have added additional things that our solution is able to do, like processing fees that are charged to a client in relation to a project, managing and charging for equipment that is used on projects, which is specifically very common, for example, in the engineering field. And the other thing we're able to do also is we're able to actually include products on projects and things that you're selling along with the actual services you're delivering. And we're able to actually have those products be sold and services be sold either as a one-time product or as something that's recurring that you're doing maybe on a monthly or an annual basis. So our goal is to capture every single interaction and every transaction with the client. And then that then gets filtered into our financial engines that give you the ability to monitor and report on your financial performance. So we're giving you purchase orders to track purchasing and how you're procuring outside services. We have intense contract management, multiple types of invoicing, whether it's fixed fee or time and materials, recurring invoicing, however you want to do it. And then finally, we have a very advanced revenue recognition engine that allows you to do revenue recognition, work in process, depending on the requirements both from a client standpoint and from your own accounting requirements. And the final piece of it that we think is really most important to having an efficient organization is what we call predictive performance. And there's a few different sort of elements of predictive performance. The first, obviously, is the ability to set up budgets and forecasts. And then the final part is to actually not just have those budgets and forecasts set up at just what you're selling to somebody, but also understanding what the cost of those services or products will be, so that you're looking at your margins. So what we were able to do is we're able to actually set up forecasts and budgets and everything you're doing that include what you're selling to the client plus also standard costing. And then finally, the other piece of that is as we're generating project plans and work breakdown structures, we're able to generate planning and forecasting and utilization tools so that you can actually get an idea into the future what's happening, and then in real time manage how your resources are being used, overused, underused, where they need to be. So it all comes together in one solution so that everyone has a place to go to both see what's going on and actually make changes to what's going on and manage how well the organization is working. The other important point that we've recognized too is that we've created a great set of tools, and we feel that there's a responsibility to the people that we work with and our clients. And what we've also developed is what we call the Assistance Academy. And the Assistance Academy is designed so that when an organization starts working with our partners, with Bond Consulting and with Assistant Software, that we're partnered with our partner organizations to deliver training and certification so that people use the system better. So typically, if an organization has been very manual, for example, they'll be just doing down here at the level 1, they'll be doing basic budgeting, basic contract management, time and expense. And then as they get more advanced and get that set up in their system, then they can move on and do budgeting and project planning, resource planning, utilization analysis, sales forecasting, and then even getting further along into cost forecasting and revenue recognition. And what we've done as an organization is we've gone and we've developed training curricula and exams so that people can start down here in the initial part working with their partners to get trained, get certified, and as they continue moving forward, we're making available advanced classes, so like advanced budgeting, advanced planning classes, and then online exams so that people then can really cement those and get certified. So it's an entire process so that we're really partnered with you, so that Bond, Assistant Software are really helping you to be a better organization. Just finally, real quickly, I just wanted to cover that we're working across multiple industries, but we're working specifically in 8 different verticals. And within these verticals, over the next 12 to 18 months, we'll be rolling out specific vertical solutions and then also continuing to incorporate functionality for these verticals in the overall solution. So whether it's in accounting or IT services or nonprofit, there are sometimes very specific things that they do, and we're able to incorporate those in the product. And then also, over time, we'll have a complete look and feel for a marketing firm or for an accounting firm or a law firm. The final thing before we get sort of prepped for the demo is just to understand, too, the ways that we can access the system through multiple user interfaces. So the typical way, obviously, is Microsoft Dynamics CRM, which is a standard integration platform, or rather standard platform that I'll show you in a second. We've also, as I mentioned earlier, developed our own portal. So we have a user portal that people can come in and enter their time and do a lot of multiple things in there. And then finally, we have, in addition to the regular timesheets that are accessible through the user portal, we also even have a timer that can be accessed through mobile, enter time through mobile, approve time, approve expenses, approve invoices, all through a mobile device. And we're going to continue to be developing our mobile platforms over time. So the idea of how we want to talk about our system and sort of show it is what is real sort of fundamental path that a lot of organizations do, and what we call it is from funnel to cash. And the idea is that we're starting in an opportunity and capturing information about potential projects in that opportunity. We're then, as that opportunity matures and it closes, then generating a project, setting up that project plan, the forecast for the project, then looking at resources and the way that resources can be administered, looking then at the timesheet and expenses and the portal where people would access and understand sort of how they would, what work they have to do and how they would do it. Then we move on to invoicing and financials. So we really have a complete solution that for every project can start when you first get the initial contact with the customer, and then move all the way through where you're actually generating invoices, posting general ledger transactions, and then completing everything out. So I'm going to go ahead and move on and now actually go into Microsoft Dynamics CRM. As you can see here, I'm in sort of my regular web browser. And a few things I just want to point out really quickly is that because we're in Microsoft Dynamics CRM, as I said before, Assistance PSA is completely embedded into Microsoft Dynamics CRM. It's using the same database, the same interface, the same tools. As you can see, the core of Microsoft Dynamics CRM is sales, service, marketing. And then what we've gone ahead and added is we've added 3 other elements, which is the PSA Suite, Professional Services Automation, Human Resources Management, and Financials. And I'll show PSA Suite really quick just to give you an idea of all the different elements. So for example, we've come in and we've added projects and programs are groups of projects, employees, products, and then different forms and tools that you use to manage the solution. And what that does is that complements sort of the core of CRM. So the core of CRM is obviously leads, accounts, and contacts, the people you're trying to sell to, leads when you're trying to sell them work, quotes and products, all the different pieces. So everything that's inside of CRM is available to you when you're using PSA. And as an organization and where you are in terms of your CRM vision, you have the choice to either use it initially if you're already using CRM or in time implement it. So you really do have a lot of options that way. And as I said before, there's a lot that we focus on in terms of using CRM. And one of the main reasons that we embedded our product and really made the move into CRM is the ability of the tools. One of the big important things in CRM is the idea of data access and dashboards. So I'm in like a standard Assistance PSA dashboard, but I have the ability to come in and look at multiple things within the system. I can look at my revenue. All these are calculated out of the box. I can look at my overall forecasting of things that are coming up. But the idea is that people have access to data. People can come in through CRM, set up tools, set up the view of the data that they want, create a dashboard, and then when they're coming in to do their work, they have one place that they come that shows them everything that they need. The other important things, too, to mention about CRM is the idea of data itself. So, for example, I'm going to go and navigate to, let me say I'll go look at my hours that have been entered into the system. This is a quick view. And hours come when someone goes and does work, and we create a record of the work they've done. The important thing I just wanted to point out is that when I'm looking at data, I have multiple views of the ways that I can look at the data. And once I've isolated the data that I want to see or use, I can actually come in here, and now I have the ability to actually take that data and do things like export that out to Excel, or export that out to a Word template. And even when I send things out to Excel, I can send that information out to Excel in a dynamic worksheet so it can automatically be updated anytime I open that web sheet or as a one-time thing. The other important thing I just wanted to point out in terms of CRM is workflow. Because CRM has its own workflow engine, anything that you see in the system, if you wanted to automate, you have the ability to sort of say, if this happens, send an email, or change this record, or generate a new record. So it's a very powerful tool that you have, especially when you're managing projects. So I'm going to go ahead and start back to our original flow we were talking about from opportunity to projects. I'm just going to navigate over now into an opportunity. So I have this general opportunity for infrastructure development that's just loading up for me. This is a standard opportunity within Microsoft Dynamics CRM. But what we've done to help project organizations better use in opportunities, we've actually gone in and added our own values. So if I come in here, I'm able to see that I can find my budget. This is a budget that Assistance PSA has added into CRM. What this allows us to do is when we're starting to talk to someone that we want to deliver services to, and we're identifying that they have a need and there's a real project that we can sell to them, we can come into here and generate a budget. So, for example, I have an estimate right here of 80,000 euros of what I'm going to be selling this organization. And how that's generated is that I'm using a few different things that are built within CRM. One of the things that we have within CRM is the concept of an hour type. An hour type is like a role that someone uses in consulting, like consultant or developer, or if it's in legal, an attorney or a paralegal. We then can generate the number of hours that we want. And the system itself has a very flexible rate engine. And what that rate engine allows us to do is it allows us to have standard rates for a type of work. For example, I can have a standard consultant rate. I can have a rate specific to a client if I already have pre-negotiated rates. I can have rates specific to a project or an opportunity. So we give a huge amount of flexibility to then have standard rates or make those rate changes. And because I have this rate and all this is available to me in the opportunity, I'm easily can generate a budget for that opportunity. The next thing I'm able to do from here is I'm actually able to come in, and as that matures, then I start having the idea of, well, how will I know in the future what's going to be available, and how is this going to impact the amount of people that I have in the work. So what we allow you to do is we allow you to actually come in here and to start forecasting. And so we've taken the same concept of a consultant, and I've actually added the specific person that I'd want. And I've come in here and I've designated I'm going to need a consultant in July for 100 hours, August for 100 hours, and September for 40 hours. And I already know the project manager that I want is a specific person, and I'm going to need him 40 hours a month. What's nice about our solution is that everything is interconnected in terms of forecasting and budgets. So what this means is that this forecast that we have right here feeds into an overall forecast for the organization. So after I've entered this information into here, it's now available so that the person who's doing resource management or the sales forecast can come in and say, well, what's the ability for me to see what's going on overall? And so I'm going to just navigate over there really quickly so we can look at that. So remember, we had that one small little piece right there. I'm able to come into my forecast. I'm just going to select quantity. I can narrow this by department or legal entity, no matter how I want to do it. Now let's go ahead and update this real quickly. So now what I've done is I've now pulled into the system all the amount of hours that I'm going to have per month. I can come in, for example, say I was going to looking at consultant that I'd done before. I can come in and say, well, I want to see, for example, how many consultant hours that I'm going to have needed each month. And now it's come in, I can then, as the resource manager, I can come in and get an idea of how many total hours I have each month. I can export this out to Excel. I can also create a chart for this to show all the different pieces. The other important function of this is I can go in detail and you can get very granular in terms of, like, will I need to hire external people? Will I need to hire temporary people? Everything is available. And then the other part that's important to this too is looking at money. So the other function that our forecast gives you is it gives you the ability to do a dollar forecasting of what's going to be coming in to your organization. So right now with this, looking at my forecast, my monetary forecast, I can actually come in here and see how much I'm expecting to generate in terms of billings in the next month. The other thing our system allows you to do is our system allows you to also use installments. So for example, if you have a fixed fee project, you'll maybe have standard payments. I'm going to bill them every 30 days, a fixed amount of money. Within the system, you're able to come in and set up those installments, and those installments feed into the forecast. The other thing that we do too is we allow, for example, for support contracts or software billing, you can set up recurring billing. So if you're billing someone every month or every year, you're able to see within the forecast what's upcoming. So for example, I'm able to look at each month in total and see what my recurring billings and installments will be each month. And as those get invoiced, it will get populated in the invoice area. So by combining my monetary forecast and my recurring and installment forecast, I can actually do a full cash flow for revenue forecast of the amount of money that I'm expecting to invoice, and even based on other factors, what I would be expecting to get in each month. So overall, what we're trying to do is give you the ability, just by setting up certain things, whether it's an opportunity, and as I'll show you in a moment in the project, everything gets updated and everything connects to itself, so that the people trying to understand what's going on at the highest level of the organization can see the effects later, and then the project managers and the people actually managing projects also have the tools to do what they need. So the next place I'm going to go is actually go move into a project and talk about how we manage and schedule work and deal with all those things. So now what I'm going to do, we're looking at this infrastructure development opportunity for. Now I'm going to go into the project that would have been created from there. And this is our standard project screen. And I'm going to come back and talk about a few elements in a second, but first I want to talk about how we look at work and how we give project managers and people the ability to understand work. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to navigate to my Gantt chart. And give me a second to load. There we go. Let's go ahead and I'll do that so you can see the complete. So the idea that we have is that within our solution, we have what we have a project. And then we have the ability to have project items and project item activities. And what that gives us the ability to do is the ability to break up work and look at the different pieces of things that we're doing. So for example, this project item here, I have this project that we were talking about before, new infrastructure development. And as you can see from the information, I have a start date and end date and duration overall. And then as I drill deeper, now I've gone down into my grouping, and now I'm in the project item. And underneath each project item, and you can think of a project item like a mini project. And it has a budget attached to it, it has people entering hours against it, it has profitability. And as I drill into the mini project, what's called the project item, I now have what we call project item activities. Project item activities represent the tasks that people are doing on the project. And all of the things that I'm showing you right now are generated initially from a project template. So all of this information, for example, about project scoping and requirements that you see right here, and then all the individual project item activities are then generated from a project template. So we give you the ability to, if you have the same project that you use, generate those and continuously regenerate them, and then even copy projects. I just want to go in and focus on the project item activities. The idea behind these is that it's very kind of similar to certain project tracking tools, but what we try and do is build in a real flexible structure around it. So for example, one of the things that I'm doing on this project underneath scoping requirements is I'm going to build a scoping and requirements report. I've estimated that I have about 3 days to do it. So I'm going to start on 2/2, I'm going to end on 2/8. And then I can come in here and I can estimate the number of hours that I want to spend on the activity. All that comes into my project, and I can use that to generate a budget and a forecast. But we also give you additional tools. So as I move forward in doing the work on the project, I'm actually able to come in and assign specific people to the project task, or I can even assign a team. What happens with this is then automatically doing a few different things. It's building a forecast, it's building a budget, and it's also giving me an overall understanding of how those people will be used over the days. So for example, if I'm looking at Monica and I say that she's going to be doing 20 hours of work over 2 days, what the system does is the system takes that 20 hours of work and it'll spread it over the duration. So from 2/2 to 2/8, it'll take the hours that we're expecting it to work and automatically spread it. That then feeds into an overall utilization that I'll show you in a minute. And it gives you the ability to then understand how people are being used and how they're best being used in the system. The other points I want to point out too is that as we're looking for people to do work on the project, we're able to feed into the skills that are set up within our HR module. So for example, I can come in here and pick any of the different skills and levels that I need. And then after I designate the skills that I need, I can come back down. It automatically pulls people with those skills. And then I can see how much availability they have. And then I can select those people and then automatically add them to the project too, but then giving me the ability to assign them hours. The other important piece that we built into is that you may have tasks that are maybe going to be something that you're going to do every week and multiple days per week. So we give you the ability to come in and assign a task to be, for example, 8 hours a day every Monday. And so if I fill in this Monday and I go ahead and save this, it would automatically schedule out the task to be 8 hours a day every Monday. And so where all this what all this information does, and as you can see now, you can see all the information that I have and the different tasks within this project. What this does is this is then generating, as I said before, it's generating schedules for the people to do the work. So we give you the ability to look at everyone who is assigned to the project team and have them, and then understand how many hours that they're going to be working on different tasks overall and what's being required of them. So what I've opened up is my utilization grid that we've built into the system. What the utilization grid gives me the ability to do, and I'll go back down to it, come down to look at Monica. Let's she's not too busy. I'll find somebody who's a little bit busier. Let me see. I'll look at Boss, for example. As you can see, I have Boss scheduled to do some training on this project. You can see he's not very busy. But as I get further out, and I have over here, I can actually see what other work that he's scheduled for. And then as in this day, he may not be scheduling the work on this project, but I also can see that he's already scheduled 11 hours to do this work. So we give you the ability, if you want to reassign from this task, from this view, so that you can actually move around and automatically reassign people. And what I'm going to show you in a second is our utilization sheet that actually gives me an overall view of the entire organization. And so that gives me the ability to then see how everyone's doing. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to move from this Gantt chart, which is solely focused on this one project, and look at the overall organization and see what people are doing work on and how I need to balance things. Just come up into here, and I'll go to my utilization sheet. One second. So now, as we see all the colors that are sort of hitting the screen really quickly, now I'm looking at everyone who's in the organization. And as you can see, I have some people that have red here that are highly overscheduled, for example, Gerard or Andre. And then I also have people that are gray, so they don't have much going on. I have people that are orange who are kind of slightly overscheduled. Purple is not quite fully scheduled but utilized, but they're getting close. And then I have people who are green who get closer to the amount of work hours. When I hover over, as you can see, I have the ability to see how many hours they're supposed to be working every day and what they're scheduled for. And I can even drill in further and get an understanding of what someone's doing. So for example, if I'm looking at this really bad hour coming up next week for Andre, I can continue to drill into all the different things he's doing and see, wow, he's supposed to work on 5 different projects in one day. And that's not really good in what I'd want to do. So in a second, I'll come back and fix that. So the way I would fix that is that I would come into here. In the same sheet that I was looking at before on the Gantt chart, I can actually come in and look in the utilization sheet. And as you can see now, I'm looking at Andre. You can see up here all the different things he was assigned to do. And I say, you know what? I don't want him to do this initial configuration anymore. I have somebody else who can do that. So all I have to do is come down here and click this, right-click. And now I have the ability to reassign this to anyone that I want to. The important part, too, I want to point out is that right now I'm looking at everybody in the system. But if I knew that, for example, certain skills were needed and certain other factors were needed, like a region or skills, I could filter everything down. So I'm only assigning people that would actually be available to do that work. But what this gives us the ability to do is, on a monthly or a weekly basis, balance out your workforce, balance out who's doing work, so that, number one, everyone is getting the work done that they need to get done, but you're also making sure that you take care of client requirements. One other piece I just wanted to highlight is the ability that we have to assign things to a team. So if I don't know who's going to be doing work, so for example, I'm going to be doing work on consultants, I can come in and assign this to a team. So like I have bank of hours here, or I have a project definition here that I need to do work. If I wanted to assign this to someone else, all I have to do is actually pick up that task and drag it and drop it. And then I'm able to then balance everything out. The other important piece too, once I've actually balanced things out, is I also have the ability to come in. If I didn't say, remember before I was going to move this initial configuration to another person, but I see that he actually has time on the next day, a little bit more time available on the next day. So what I can actually do is I can actually come in here. Instead of doing the work on the 19th, I can come over and actually say, I want him to do the work on the 20th. And so now, he has these are the hours available, so now I've balanced it out, and now I've moved the work that he's doing. And so obviously the question is, how does Andre know that he's supposed to be doing this work? And the way that he knows is by accessing this through the portal. I'm going to go ahead and just switch over and show you how people who are regular, not project managers, but just regular people that are doing work on projects see the work they're doing in their time. And so where I am now is I'm in the Assistance PSA portal, and now I'm in the same utilization sheet we were seeing before. But as you can see, this has a very simple web address that can be and saved, and people go directly into this portal. They don't have to navigate through CRM or go through other things. And so I'm going to start here in the utilization sheet. And I'll go ahead and select all my teams, and I'll just select Andre as the person that I want to look at. And typically his security would be set so the only things that he could see would be the work that's assigned to him. So Andre now has the ability to come in here, see all the things that are assigned to him. And if you want to give him security, you can actually, through the portal, even give him the option to come in and rebalance his hours himself so that the resource manager can see when he's moving things around and making changes. It's really sort of a management style and resource management choice that you'd want to make. But we give you the ability so that depending on the resource, they can actually come in and change things. We also, if Andre is a project manager, for example, he could have access to see all the different people on his projects so that he could do that through the portal also. So when it comes time for Andre to enter time, so at the end of the week and he's gone and done work, he comes into his timesheet. And the important things that I want to point out on our timesheet is, so this, number one, this looks a lot like your Outlook calendar. And we actually give you the ability to come in and retrieve data from Outlook. And what that means is that you can pull in all your Outlook appointments and then go in, specify them into what project they're on, and then save them. The other way that we can enter time is just very easily coming in and selecting the project that we're working on. It automatically will pull in the first requirement. Then I can come down and it'll actually select all of the different activities that have been designated. We have a system of alerts set up in the system so that it allows you to automatically know when there's time available. You can come in and go in and enter the time, save it, and then that's available now so that it can be managed by the approved by the project manager and then administratively approved, and then it's available to be invoiced. For people that want to have a sort of more traditional view, we also have a linear timesheet that's available. The linear timesheet allows you just to do sort of a project and then enter time by day. The consultants also have the ability to enter their expenses directly through the portal. And then when it comes down to actually managing their own employee information and time, what we've also done is we've taken our employee form in our HRM system and we've published it out to the portal also. So you have the ability to create a customized human resources form of all the information you want to track, and then you can designate what information you want the employee to update themselves so they can come in and make changes to any other information that you want. And anytime you add a new field, that automatically gets published into the employee portal. The other important thing before we leave the portal that I want to highlight is just the ability that we have to come in and request time off. And once someone comes in and requests time off, that shows up in the utilization grid so the project manager knows that they won't be available, and they can also come in here and call in sick. But the idea behind our portal is you have one place where people are able to come in and have a complete view of everything that's going on as an employee. And because the idea is, as we've shown, we're creating a lot of tasks and work for employees, and rather than have to necessarily go and create emails that flood their inbox or other alerts, we can put the burden onto them and the responsibility to come in and know what they need to do and look in their portal, and then every day they don't have to ask, they can just go ahead and look. So once somebody, for example, has gone in and filled out their timesheet, then the time would be able to be processed, and that's how we would process it through the project itself. So I'm going to navigate back over into the core CRM, and I'm going to go back to our project real quick and just talk a little bit about invoicing and then close that out and how the project's structured and how that's related to invoicing. Just going to go back into our project. Just going to go down to our items and call details. And the details are the project items. And as you can see here, I have a few different types of project items. I have fixed fee. I have time and materials hourly. I could have time and materials day. I can have products. I can manage my expenses on a billable basis or a fixed fee basis. And as you can see in here, I have the amount, which is the amount that I've designated for this item. For example, on this time and materials item, I can see that I have $1,800 that have been entered so far in terms of time against a $12,000 budget. It shows me my cost automatically. It shows me the estimated result and my billable cost, and even shows me how much of that has been invoiced. This project itself shows the ability that we have in Assistance PSA to have both time and materials and fixed fee in the same project. Typically, people will have maybe a fixed fee or time and materials, but if there was a need, you do have the ability within the system. The other point I want to point out too is, say for example, I'm going to invoice this fixed fee. The way that we're able to invoice fixed fees is by having it, and we showed this earlier, is having invoicing installments defined. So I can come in here and define all the installments up front, and it gives me the ability to see all the different work that I'm doing and what I'm going to bill. And as I bill, it automatically will show me the invoice that has been generated. So what our solution does is that everything is all contained within CRM. So we go from the initial part in the opportunity. We define in the opportunity the work and the budget and the forecast. Then as we go into the project, we use a template or we copy a project to create this new project. We then go through, we assign resources, we generate an updated budget, we generate a forecast. The employees go into the portal. They then enter their time based on the work that's assigned to them, and then once that time is entered, it's then approved, and then the time is either managed and reported on like for revenue recognition, or for time and materials, it's billed automatically, and then everything else is then generated. And then in the last part of it is behind the scenes, we're generating all of the financial journal entries and financial transactions that can then be sent out into your financial system. So what we're doing is, in essence, we have a complete solution for all project information, and the only thing we're doing in the financial system is we're just sending out invoices and financial information, but anything you need to know about projects is all within one system, all reportable. And the way that we give people the access to come in to see everything is, in addition to the work inside of CRM, we'd actually come in and we're using Microsoft Power BI tool, and we've actually built a complete set of dashboards that look at the entire organization, so I can focus on where I'm doing the work, whether it's in Europe or North America. I can look at all the different places where I'm generating revenue in the system, and I highlight it within the time period that I'm looking at. You know, I'm looking at my production hours, the amount of time spent internally, the amount of leave, the amount of hours sick, all broken down by person, all drillable. So in essence, we're giving you a complete solution, and then we're capping it off with the tools to do all the analysis that you need to really make your business run better.